Welcome to the Real Spit Podcast, people. Yeah. The Julio Foolio trial is now over, officially over, right? I know a couple months back they was talking about, they was fighting for their life. Actually, they was on the death penalty, or whatever the case may be. So that trial was about, you know what I'm saying, fighting for their life, but they didn't get the death penalty. They got the life in prison without the possibility of parole, right? So the formal decision came out this week, y'all, when, they go over the case, make sure they did everything right before they give them the formal sentencing. And the formal sentencing was everybody got life without parole. Sad, people. That's six people's lives been touched by this case right here, y'all. Six of our babies, man. Six of our kids' lives have been touched by this case right here. So I'm gonna get into it, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all about the formal thing, right? And what happened. The first person, well, this is when they asked anybody do they want to come up there and talk last words, you know what I'm saying, before they get sentenced and everything. Well, after they got sentenced, right? So they want to get their last, you know what I'm saying, word, what they want to say to the judge, you know what I'm saying? They want to thank her, tell her, whatever they want, whatever's on their mind, right? So all four of them, you know what I mean, was asked do they want to say anything, right? So the two Murphys, Rashad Murphy and Darion Murphy, like, nah, we good. We don't want to say nothing, right? Gaffright and Chance, Isaiah Chance and Sean Gaffright, they wanted to say something, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all about that. Then we're gonna get into some other shit, right? All right. So Sean Gaffright, right? He gets up there, you know what I'm saying? His last words was, um, he wanted to quote some scriptures from the Bible, of course. So he quoted a couple of scriptures from the Bible and everything like that. Then he went on to say that he don't think he should be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole because he think that it's an injustice to sentence someone that's 19 and 20 years old to life in prison and his brain is not fully developed, right? The man brain don't develop until they're around 26, 27 years old. So he shouldn't be getting life because his brain is not fully developed. You know what I'm saying? I can't make this shit up. This is what he said, yo. He has some good points though, for real. And he said that, I can't even rent a car, you know what I mean, by myself because I'm too young. I can't even get a hotel room because I'm too young. I gotta be chaperoned if I go on a cruise and stuff like that because I'm too young. But now y'all giving me life without, but y'all not saying that I'm too young to get life without prison. Make that make sense. So he basically saying, hey, I shouldn't be doing life without parole. You know what I'm saying? Because my brain was not fully developed, right? So, then he went on to say that, he's a good kid, you know what I'm saying? He just hung out with the wrong people and made some mistakes, but he had a great life and stuff like that. This was the one that was traveling all over the place. His moms and pops, whatever, was in the military. So, he was, the little light skinned motherfucker with the good hair. You know what I mean? That everybody was, feeling sorry for. You know what I mean? All that type of shit. I don't know what the fuck that was about. But yeah, and he had the little fan club and shit, I guess, because he was a good kid, light skinned with baby hair. I don't know what it was, but he had some followers, y'all. But our society, we so damn dumb. We always gonna follow something, right? But anyway, so that's basically what he said. You know what I'm saying? So that was his case right there. So, but nobody was going for it. So, okay, he set his ass down, right? So then my man Chance, Isaiah Chance, came up there, right? And by the way, Sean Gaffright, smart kid, good kid too. You can tell how he was speaking too. You know what I mean? But okay, now we're gonna move on to the next one. Isaiah Chance. Isaiah Chance got up there, you know what I'm saying? Woo! That boy hell right there. But anyway, he gets up there, right? Check it, P game. He gets up there. So he basically says that he shouldn't be getting life without the possibility of parole because his girlfriend didn't get life without the possibility of parole. His girlfriend, I think her name was Alicia Andrews, some shit like that. But anyway, she got manslaughter, right? She got manslaughter. So Isaiah Chance saying, she got a separate trial. You know what I'm saying? I should have got a separate trial. That's what he's saying. I should have got a separate trial, but I went to trial with my co-defendants, right? Basically saying, these the most who pulled the trigger. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Me and her basically should have went to trial together, or I should have a separate trial. I should have went to trial with these mugs right here. So I'm guilty by association, basically. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because he didn't pull the trigger though, right? Let's keep it a buck. He have a good point right there, right? He has a good ass point right there, right? That's some good ass pilling. He might get a pill that though. I'm gonna keep it 100, right? But he was right because he was in the car with his girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? They was like the lookout people, you know what I'm saying? Keeping tabs on where Foolio go, you know what I'm saying? So they keeping tabs, and Isaiah Chance, he texted Sean Gaffright saying, yo, this is where we at, this is what he's doing, like that, you know what I mean? Getting him to drop on Foolio, right? But he didn't pull the trigger, you know what I'm saying? And they never said he pulled the trigger, right? They said the other three pulled the trigger, right? So he had a good little point right there, right? But you know what I'm saying? He's basically throwing his girl on the bus like, yo, shit, either she gonna get life with us, or I'm getting manslaughter. Shit, y'all figure it out, right? But anyway, judge wasn't going for that shit neither. But anyway, But then back to this, check this. But P game. But this little mug right here too. Well-spoken little dude. Well-spoken little dude too. But him and Sean Gaffright, well-spoken. Good. You can tell they was good students in school, you know what I'm saying? Just mixed in with the wrong crowd. Like I always tell you, y'all better watch y'all kids, man. Y'all let these motherfucking thugs get a hold to them. And this the type of shit that happened. But, all right, let me get off my high horse now. So, okay. Other thing my man said, right? Isaiah Chance. Gotta give him his props for this too, you know what I'm saying? So he looked into the camera and said, okay, I got one last thing to say, you know what I'm saying? Big up to my city, Jacksonville. And I want to tell y'all kids out there, this is what he said now. I want to tell y'all kids out there, it ain't worth it. Stay out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing. Go to school. Do something with your life. Because this ain't worth it. He said, I have never got a traffic ticket, right? I've never been in trouble with the law. And now I wake up and I'm fighting for my life. You know what I'm saying? Not to be put to death. You know what I'm saying? And I never ever, only thing he ever got was a traffic ticket, he said. So he just both told the kids from his town, you know what I mean? And I salute him for that, you know what I'm saying? That, stay out of trouble. And he told him this, he said, because the only person that's going to be in your corner when it's all said and done is your mom's. He said, when those cells close, them doors close, you in there by yourself, it's just you. So y'all need to make better decisions out there. You know what I mean? And stay out the street. That's basically what he told me, right? He was an up-and-coming rapper as well, but that's what he told him, you know what I'm saying? He said, you might have one other friend that might ride out with you a little bit, but your mom's, she the only one gonna ride with you. You know what I mean? She the only one gonna ride with you. And that is absolutely correct, people. And all you little guys out there that's doing dumb shit, only people gonna ride with you is your mom. You know what I mean? The one that you disrespected and not listening to. She the only one gonna do that time with you. She the only one gonna ride with you till the wheels fall off, right? So y'all need to get y'all shit together, all right? All right, now we get to, then Davian, what's his name? Davian Murphy, or something like that. Davian Murphy, something like that. Now, that's the one, peak game, all right? So, when the judge first came out, right, and, she's, talking to them and stuff like that, and she's basically saying, Julio and Foolio, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no saint, you know what I mean? He did some wrong things as well, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? It doesn't deserve him losing his life, you know what I'm saying? He does some things like, you know what I'm saying, dancing on people's graves, and, that's what Foolio did, right? That was a retaliation, right? For Davion Murphy. I think that was his cousin that Foolio was dancing on his casket and pouring liquor out and doing all this shit, you know what I mean? Making a mockery of Davion Murphy's cousin who did. So this shit was personal for Davion Murphy. This shit was personal. You know what I mean? That's why he took the time like he took the time, you know what I mean? And ain't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Every time you seen that motherfucker, he was smiling. That shit was personal. You know what I mean? He was ready for it. He didn't give a damn. You know what I mean? He didn't give a damn. But anyway, so when the judge was telling him about this, right, was saying, Julio ain't no saint either, you know what I'm saying? He did some wrong in this too, but he should have been dead or anything like that. So my man Davion Murphy started clapping. Like that, right? And then his lawyer was like, yo, chill, you can't do that like that. But Davion Murphy kept a smile on his face. You know what I mean? So I was surprised to see him say, I want to take some last words. So I mean, I want to say something. You know what I mean? Because before he was like, nah, I don't want to say nothing. You know, him and Rashad was like, nah, we good. You know what I'm saying? Playing that gangster shit, whatever. But I gotta give it up to Davion Murphy though. I on some real shit. You know what I mean? Not to sound ignorant shit like that, but that boy, he took that shit like a G. He took his shit like a G. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you're gonna do some shit, you're gonna go out. At least go out with some motherfucking dignity and keep your motherfucking head up. You know what I mean? You fucked up, but you stand on that shit. You stand on business. You know what I mean? And you, hey, take that motherfucking time, and that's just what he did. But anyway, Davion gets up there and he said, you know, glory be to God. You know what I'm saying? God bless you. You know what I mean? Talking some religious stuff like that. And then what he said, man, and this shit touched me on some real shit because Isaiah Chance said it, you know, it touched you a little bit. But when Davion Murphy said this shit, he was like, yo, to my people, to the kids, to my Gen Z generation, yo, do something with your life. This ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Be something. Make something of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stay out these streets. You know what I'm saying? Do something with your life. Don't do this. I was touched, man, because you felt it when he said it. I mean, he said the shit from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, how Sean Gaffright, you know, spoke with a little, like you tell that boy went to school and everything, had a little good head on his shoulder. How Isaiah Chance spoke, you know what I mean? You could tell he went to school, good student and everything like that. Davion Murphy sound like he probably went to the 6th grade, 7th grade. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. How he talk, you know what I mean? How people, you know what I mean, don't talk that educated, whatever like that. Like, he probably dropped out in 6th, 7th grade, but the boy been through a lot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he was taking care of his siblings and stuff like that. If y'all watch Child, you'll know he was taking care of his siblings and shit like that as a young man and stuff like that. So he was in the streets for a long time, you know what I'm saying? You know, and like he's basically saying that this wasn't his first running with the law, you know what I'm saying? Him and Rashad Murphy, the other guy, that he didn't want to say nothing though, they've been into like this shit. You know what I mean? They've been into locked up, been in jail, you know what I mean? They've been into the street shit. They've been locked up. That was their life, you know what I mean? That's why they took it how they took it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They took it like, yo, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Rashad cried a little bit though, you know what I mean? Because they would start, I think he felt that he felt his girlfriend and his kids and shit like that. Cause the boy had a girlfriend, he had kids and everything. I think he was the oldest one out the bunch and shit like that. But anyway, so back to Davion Murphy, man. I salute that dude, man. And what he said, you know what I mean? How he went out, you know what I mean? How the whole trial, how he's playing gangster and didn't want to say shit and, you know what I mean? Thought everything was funny and shit like that. For him to come up there and say that, man, to get his shout out to his people, because I know it's a lot of little ignorant motherfuckers, a lot of kids look up for him. I know he like with the OG. You know what I mean? He had that Beanie Siegel swag, like the bully, like, you know what I mean? He probably bullied Gate right in motherfucking chain. Y'all gonna do this shit. He had that swag to him, like a straight little fucking bully, you know what I mean? You know how you say some people, nobody should be locked up, nobody should be put in society, but some motherfuckers out here just fucking animals and fucking beasts. He got that swag. Like, this nigga ain't no reforming type shit. You know what I mean? Which everybody can reform. I'm just saying that's my perspective on it, right? Anyway, he said that, man. I was real touched, man. So, shout out to Davion Murphy once again, all right? Now we're going to get to my man, what's that man? Rashad Murphy. I think they was cousins and shit, Davion Murphy and Rashad Murphy. I don't know though. But, so Rashad Murphy, you know what I'm saying? You know, he took it like a G2. So, they asked him, Rashad, any last words, your last chance? You know, Rashad Murphy was like, nah, I'm good. I just want to tell everybody he ain't come up to the bench or anything to say anything. He just stayed there sitting down saying, I'm good. I love everybody and thank everybody for what they did and all that type of shit. You know what I mean? So Rashad, he rolled out like that. You know what I mean? So he ain't had too much to say, right? So, you know what I mean? And who else in this case? The girl, Alicia Andrews or whatever like that. She had a whole new separate trial, you know what I'm saying? She got manslaughter for what she did and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, her and Isaiah Chance was just to look out people, you know what I'm saying? But my man Sean Gaffright and Rashad and Davion Murphy, I mean, they was the hitmen. They was the shooters, right? They the one that went in there and did the damn thing, you know what I mean? They was the shooters. You know what I mean? They was the shooters. So, it is what it is. So they got the time, so Isaiah Chance might have a little pill issue right there, you know what I mean? Because he didn't bust a grape, you know what I mean? But anyway, after all that said and done, man, now I'm about to touch on some of their background, and I'm going to touch on what we need to do as a community, right? What we need to do as a community. And through the whole case, I'm gonna get to the fathers right now. And through the whole case, right, I'm thinking like, where their pops at? You know what I mean? Seen their moms, never seen nobody pops, right? That's why I tell you, gotta stay in your kid's life, fellas. Gotta stay in your kid's life. But Sean Geffright was a good kid growing up. Like y'all know his background and shit. Traveling all over the place and stuff like that, right? So when I seen him up there, and I seen his moms, right? And then I'm like, yo, where the pops at, right? I'm like, yo, I mean, did she say she was married or whatever the case may be? But she was married, but she wasn't married to Sean Geffright pops, right? So when a judge, you know what I'm saying, 'cause you know they have the people that come speak for them, right? Like somebody close to them, father, stepfather, somebody real close to them, a mentor or something like that, come up and talk to them, talk for the people, whatever. So Sean Geffright stepfather came up there, right? Talking to the judge, you know what I mean? Talk about Sean Geffright character and everything like that. So, you know, he's a white guy. Because Sean Geffright's mother was black, his stepfather was white, right? Never seen his father, but anyway. So the judge is talking to Sean Geffright's stepdad, right? So she talking to the stepdad. I knew something wasn't right now. People I'm going with this, that, right? So he talking to the stepdad, right? He said, so how was Sean Geffright? He was a good kid, you know what I'm saying? He was very adventurous. He liked to travel and stuff like that. And then the judge asked him, so have you been in contact with him since you and his mother got a divorce, right? So since y'all got a divorce, have you been in touch with Sean Geffright? You know what I mean? Since you was his stepfather and everything, I know you had an impact in his life and everything. Have you kept in touch with Sean Geffright? He said, no. Not since divorce, I haven't had any contact with Sean Geffright. Like that, right? I'm like, wow. So then, I don't know why the judge asked this shit, but she asked it. She said, so when you and Sean Geffright's mother was married, did you ever discipline Sean Geffright? You know what I mean? Like when he got in trouble, did you ever chastise him and discipline him and let him know what he was doing was wrong? Like that? You know what this man said? And I knew this was the motherfucking problem. Probably why they got divorced. You know what I mean? He said, no, ma'am. I was unable to discipline him or chastise him when he was wrong and he got in trouble. I was not allowed to do that. Out his mouth. This is what he said. So I knew he seen them little signs of Sean Geffright acting up and shit, and he was trying to nip it in the bud, and mom was like, yo, I married you. He didn't marry you. You know what I'm saying? Don't say nothing to my baby. Don't chastise him, don't discipline him. And how he said it, he knew where the judge was going with this shit, right? And I'm like, wow. That's the fucking problem. That's the fucking problem. You women, right, want to get married again or bring a man into y'all life and shit, right? Want them to be there for y'all, want them to provide for y'all, take y'all on trips, pay some motherfucking bills, do all this type of shit. But you don't want them to say nothing to these little badass kids y'all got, right? Y'all don't want them to say nothing to these little badass kids that y'all have. And that's why niggas are leaving, because we see the signs. Oh, this little motherfucker gonna be off the chain. And then you try to tell the woman, yo, man, you need to check your son on this type of shit, right? He doing this, he doing that. Yo, oh, he just young, he'll be all right, but I got this, you know what I mean? And that's why niggas getting the hell on. As they should. Fellas, if you in a relationship, and you got a chick, and you rocking out with a chick, and you see their kids is fucking off the fucking chain of bad, and she ain't trying to discipline them, and you trying to, you know what I mean? Tell her like, yo, what's going on? This, that, and third, and she ain't listening. And don't worry about that. He got a father. He'll take care of that. Get the hell on. Get the hell on, man. Leave her where the fuck she's at. You know what I mean? Because that ain't nothing but a motherfucking problem. A fucking headache. Get the hell on, bro. All right? I don't want to harp on that too much, okay? Now we're going to get back to my man Isaiah Chance, all right? So, His stepfather came up there. Well, not stepfather, his mother, ex-boyfriend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And he's the mentor, Isaiah Chance, right? See, Isaiah Chance wanted to be a preacher, right? Yeah, he wanted to be a pastor. He loved the church, and you know what I'm saying? He was a good kid, you know what I'm saying? I kept him around me a lot. I taught him a little bit of martial arts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I have a mentoring program, you know what I'm saying? He used to come to the mentoring program with me. I do a lot of mentoring for at-risk kids and stuff like that, and Isaiah Chance used to be there, you know. Had Isaiah Chance doing the straight and narrow, right? Isaiah Chance thriving, you know what I'm saying? Doing good, you know what I'm saying? Him and Miles broke up. I don't know the situation, anything like that. Then that's when the streets took over. And Isaiah Chance, you know what I'm saying? You know, probably felt like, yo, you ain't with my moms no more, whatever the case may be. And he probably wasn't around like that no more. So Isaiah Chance took to the streets, you know what I'm saying? He was an up and coming rapper too, as they say, or whatever the case may be. So, man, got caught up in that shit. Got caught up in them streets, man. Got caught up in them streets. But that's what I be telling y'all, man. And when a little girl, you know what I mean? She didn't come, I don't think she came from a bad family neither, you know what I mean? Seeing her trial, she a little sassy ass too, but you know what I mean? She was up there and then, you know, lawyers and prosecutors trying to come at her, but she was standing her ground and shit like that. But like I said, she probably was a good kid, right? She looked like a good girl, looked like she came, I don't know too much about her background and stuff like that. I just seen a little bit of her trial, so I'm not going to really speculate on that, you know what I'm saying? Because you know when I come out here, I got all the facts, so. But anyway, she probably was a good girl because she was dealing with Isaiah Chance. Because he's not really a bad motherfucker, to keep it 100. You know what I mean? He just tried to play that shit. You know what I mean? Like I said, boy never been in trouble with the law. Him or Sean Gaffray never been in trouble with the law. You see what I'm saying? So they was good kids. You know what I mean? And they 21, 22. So you're a knucklehead. You know, when you going to juvie and all that shit, you're going to get some little, go to juvie, get locked up here and there. You're just a troubled ass kids, right? You want to get that in the teens, right? So they wasn't bad kids. But anyway, another thing too, with y'all daughters out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had to, you know, little podcast when I talk about the women and shit like that, and you gotta be careful who they dealing with and shit. And the OGs of the family need to be meeting these guys in your daughter lives, right? Right? Because this girl just, you know, being with a little boyfriend, you know what I mean? Trying to show him some support, some love, but show that shit to him in the wrong way, right? So she rocking out with her boyfriend, you know what I mean? They setting up Julio, Foolio, and all that good shit. And she like, okay. Did she know they probably was going to kill him? She probably didn't know. Who knows? You know what I mean? That's why she got manslaughter. They said she probably didn't fucking know. They just know she was doing some shit with her fucking boyfriend, right? Anyway, y'all got to be careful with that, man. Y'all got to be careful who y'all daughters deal with, man. You got to. You got to know who your daughter deal with. You know what I'm saying? This is a good girl. Allegedly. Right? Good girl. And now she got manslaughter, people. Right? She lucky she didn't get life without parole. Because Isaiah Chance got it. He ain't pulled the trigger. He was driving the car by her ass. I think she the motherfucking driving. But anyway, y'all gotta be careful, man. Y'all gotta, see who y'all fucking daughters dealing with, man. You see the little knucklehead coming in, want to be a fake ass rapper and out there dealing with all that type of dumb shit and sending, you gotta nip that shit in the bud, bro. Know what I mean? I see the daughters, they grown and shit like that, but shit, you still got the ear. You know what I mean? You still got the ear. You better, what the fuck going on with my man? What he doing? He doing what? Blah, blah, nah, fuck that. Nah, you don't need that motherfucker in your life. You know what I mean? At least drop him, give us some Jews. So when some shit jump off and he do some shit, she think about you, be like, yeah, my pops did say this shit. Yeah. Let me get the fuck on away from this nigga. You know what I mean? But put something in that motherfucker head. But like I said, y'all gotta know. Y'all have to know who y'all daughters dealing with. Who y'all daughters dating. You know what I mean? And I don't know about her speculation of her parents in her life, mother, father, and all that type of shit. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't see her case, you know what I mean? Or anything like that. Just know she got manslaughter. But, y'all gotta be, y'all gotta be there, man. Every aspect of life with these kids, man. You know what I mean? You got to. Until they get in about their 30s and shit like that, we have to be on their ass. We have to. Asking questions, what's going on? What's this? What's that? We have to. Because we have to save them from themselves, man. We the adults. Even though they grown, but we got to give them gems and them juice because we've been there and done that. And we know what's right, we know what's wrong, and we know what that shit brings. All right? But last but not least, I'm going to go on to my man, Julio, Foolio. Right? This little mug right here, this little motherfucker was off the chain too. He was off the chain too. You know what I mean? So he wasn't no motherfucker. I can't sit up here and say, oh, he's a good kid and all that type of shit. And you know what I mean? You know I don't do them fake ass eulogies, right? I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 100. This little motherfucker was off the chain. This little motherfucker was bad. This little motherfucker was talking about shooting motherfuckers, killing motherfuckers, and like I said, doing the most disrespectful shit. You know what I mean? Going to his ops. I hope y'all don't know what ops mean and shit. I know y'all motherfuckers ain't that old out there listening to this shit. So his ops, right? His ops get killed, you know what I mean? And he go to their gravesite, you know what I mean? And make songs about them getting killed and laughing and joking and shit like that. And all on your tombstone, all on the gravesite, pouring liquor on their shit, celebrating their death. You know what I mean? You know that drill rap phase and shit? Yeah, he's on that drill rap shit, the drill rap phase that was going on, you know what I mean? Smoking on this and smoking on that when your ops die, your enemies die and shit like that. You smoke on their ashes and talk about them. You're smoking weed, you're smoking on their ashes, all that type of shit, all that ignorant drill bullshit, right? All that demon ass music, right? I ain't gonna harp on it, but y'all know all that demon ass music that's out here getting played, man. You know what I mean? Talking about killing each other. You know what I'm saying? Smoking on your fucking ops and disrespecting their grave site. You know what I'm saying? And thinking that shit is a joke. And people got people who love them. Think about that shit, y'all. Your loved one dies. And then you look at a video that's getting millions and millions of fucking views talking about your loved one, cousin, brother, whatever, was killed, was unalived, right? Was unalived. And this guy's up here celebrating on his grave when you're not around. He done went to the gravesite. Right? Well, that's off limits. Rest in peace to whoever and whatever you done. Okay? Now it's time for the big OG to judge you. Right? That's supposed to be over, a different phase. You starting your healing process and you turn on the TV and you got somebody celebrating your death and dancing on your grave site, pissing and pouring alcohol and just being disrespectful, laughing and joking and got your pictures and everything. Got your pictures. The pictures of the person who was deceased, got the picture of him, big as hell, laughing and joking and playing and shit. How would that make you feel? Anybody in their right mind. No, I'm not going to say in their right mind. Anybody who let their emotions control them is going to crash out. I'm a grown-ass man. And I check my emotions. But I ain't going to lie. In a case like this, I probably would have been on some Davion Murphy shit. Somebody murdered my motherfucking, unalived my motherfucking son. I don't even want to speak that existence. Unalived my loved one, and you dancing about it? Now, my emotion not going to get the best of me. I'm just going to crash out. Now, fuck, it is what it is. But if I do that, I'm going to be ready for the repercussion and consequences for whatever comes because I already got it in my mind that, yo, this is what I'm going to fucking do. And I know I'm about to go sit down in that motherfucking cell, but this motherfucker got to learn. Right? And that's how people think. People take it there. Men take it there. Right? So now I kind of understand Davion Murphy a little bit because that was his cousin. Right? The other two, Sean Gaffright and Isaiah Chance, ain't had shit to do with this. Right? They just motherfucker trying to put on, trying to be fucking tough. You know what I mean? Want to go with the gangsters and go with the motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, what up? What's the, yeah, I'm with the shit, No, they wasn't built like that. No, they little ass need to be in school somewhere. Sit your little soft ass down. But nah, you want to play gangster. But now you about to get that gangster fucking time. And that's crazy. First offense, nigga, and that's murder. First offense and it's life without parole. That's crazy. That's crazy. Could y'all think about that shit, y'all? Fathom that shit. life without the possibility of parole. That means you die in there. That means you never seeing daylight again. Ever. Only time you come beyond those walls is when you're taken out in a fucking casket. That is wow. That is crazy. So, people, we're going to make this a learning experience once again. Once again, these trials and shit that be coming on and showing these cases and stuff like that, and you got troubled kids, daughters, whatever the case may be, y'all supposed to be learning from this shit, right? Fuck talking about it. Put that shit on your goddamn TV. Tell your son, whoever's in trouble, you know what I mean, or whatever, getting in trouble and all this shit, thinking this gangster shit is what it is. Look at these trials. Let them hear these boys' testament last words saying stay out of trouble. Let them see what goes on in this drill rap shit. Let them see what goes on in our community when shit happen. Because these little boys didn't have no fucking history of doing anything. Sean Garrett and Isaiah Chance. But guess what? These motherfuckers facing life now. You gotta let your kids see shit like this. This is a learning process, right? This is when you gotta be on that TV and schooling them and yo, check this out, look at this, because we all know, right? We see on TikTok and shit, right? We see on TikTok when you see people in jail, right? Locked up and they acting like the shit is cool and the shit is, you know what I mean? Yo, I'm locked up and showing you a bunch of fucking noodles and a bunch of fucking potato chips and all this dumb shit, right? Like they living life, like life is good in that motherfucker, right? That's what your kids seeing. So they looking like, okay, I get locked up, shit, I'll be chilling, I'm having food. No, motherfucker. Jail is fucking hell. Jail is hell. And I'm gonna tell you, it ain't got fucking worse, right? It ain't got worse, right? When I was a CO, back in the day, when I was a CO, right? We used to protect the little soft, weak motherfuckers, right? You know what I mean? Put them in protective custody or shit like that. They getting their shit, their snacks, their food, taking the shit like that. We'll go up there, you know what I mean? And we'll intervene. Yo, leave little man alone. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. And we'll take up for him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Protect him a little bit, right? That shit don't happen no more, right? If a motherfucking inmate had a phone or anything in prison and shit like that, you know what I mean? We was taking that shit, right? You ain't see all this motherfucker every time you turn on the fucking TV. A motherfucker on TikTok and all this shit. You know what I mean? Posting itself and taking videos. You ain't see all that shit back then. You know why you see it now, right? That's because people think, oh, prison ain't that bad anymore. The shit that got worse, people. The shit that got worse, right? Let me tell you how this shit work now, because I still got people that's correctional officers and shit like this, right? And I asked them about this shit, right? And I was like, yo, I be seeing this motherfucker on TikTok cooking this shit all on the stairs and shit, and you know what I mean, and taking all these motherfucking pictures and shit, and got a whole fucking video. So how the fuck the motherfucker making a video for like 2 or 3 hours and shit? Like, what the fuck? What the office is that? What the fuck y'all niggas in there doing? You know what he told me? Man, yo, if that motherfucking inmate get that phone into that goddamn dorm, shit, he got it. He could keep it. And we don't catch that shit, he could keep it. I said, huh? He said, yeah, man, we don't give a fuck. He said, yo, bro, it's too many officers get hurt. You know what I mean? He said, yo, we got like 2 motherfuckers now, right? He said, we got one in the control room, and we got one that go on the range from side to side. He said, and we don't even tell them motherfuckers to go in the building no more. We just tell them to peek inside, look inside, see what the fuck they doing, and get the fuck off that unit. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, them motherfuckers better help themselves. He said, if they scared, you know what I mean, and they want to cop PC, they better come to us like that. I said, yo, that's crazy. He said, yeah, man. He said, man, yo. He said, man, we tired of going up in that motherfucker, getting hurt, you know what I mean, getting killed and shit for these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers got to do their time. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers got life, all kinds of shit, and then all kind of dumb shit. He said, man, we trying to make it back to our families. Fuck that. Them niggas get stabbed up. Oh, well. You know what I mean? Hey. You know what I mean? I said, so when motherfuckers stabbed up and they fighting, what y'all do? Y'all go in there? He's like, nah. He said, we call for some motherfucking backup. We call for some motherfucking help. And, hey, when we get enough people, you know what I mean? We get our numbers and everybody come down there, then we'll tell the motherfuckers to lock it down, and then we're going to go see what the damage is done. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers got stabbed up. We're going to get them up out of there, you know what I'm saying? Take them up there to the motherfucking hospital or whatever the case may be, and do what we gotta do. But he said, we not going back on that motherfucking unit like that. We ain't doing that shit. We not getting killed for these motherfuckers no more. Fuck them. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, people, just because y'all see that shit ain't get easier. That shit done got worse. Stay the fuck out of prison. Stay out of jail, right? But, you know, I done talked long enough, man. But parents, people, y'all see this shit, man? Y'all see these cases? Because we got them every week. Every week is something, right? Every week somebody dying, somebody doing something, man. It's a lot of shit that we could teach our kids from other people's mistakes. Don't let us be the one. Don't let our kids be the one, you know what I mean, making the motherfucking mistakes and somebody teaching about them, all right? But I know. I talked a long time today. I know I did, man. I know I did. But I hope somebody took some little jewels and gems out of this, though, man. I really do, man. Because I only do this shit, man, because I give a fuck and I care. You know what I'm saying? So let's save our kids, man, and let this be a teaching tool, man. Let this be a teaching tool, all right? But I'm out of here, man. And like I said, Real Spit Podcast on YouTube, man. Go subscribe, man. And y'all know why I do this, man. Y'all know why I do this. I don't do this shit because I hate y'all. I do this shit because I love y'all, man. Let's save our fucking kids, man. I love y'all. Jersey, everybody riding. I'm out. Holla at your boy, man. Y'all be safe.